We are on the floor of the Republican National Convention here in Tampa, Florida. Guy Benson for townhall.com. Delighted to be joined by the former governor of the great state of New Hampshire, John Sununu. Hello, Governor.
It's a pleasure to be here, Guy.
Well, there's a lot going on. And so the first question I want to toss to you is, have you heard your new nickname within the Romney camp?
No, what's my new nickname?
You are the Honey Badger.
Oh, I saw
of
that
the
in
Romney
National
campaign
Review article. I saw that.
What do you,
I hope
apparently,
it means the nice something nice.
Well, it means that you are sort of a pit bull who doesn't really care what people say. You're going to speak your mind. You think it's fair?
That's pretty close.
It's a pretty good
Yes,
moniker. I think Andrea Mitchell and some others could probably attest to that. And Soledad O'Brien more recently. Governor, I think it's been interesting to watch the role of the mainstream press in covering this convention. We had the dust-up yesterday, or earlier yesterday, with Reince Priebus, where Chris Matthews came after him and essentially called him a racist and said, he used all sorts of epithets. Garbage was one of the words he used. Then we had an Associated Press headline that was Romney's convention, big storm, rape controversy. Is Governor Romney running against the Democrat Party and also the mainstream press?
Well, that's almost always been true. The mainstream press leans so far liberal that I'm pretty sure that their left leg is a little shorter than their right leg, and they tilt in that direction anyway. Look, the mainstream press is determined to try and shore up a failed presidency. They will do whatever they need to and whatever they can to try and make America think that this president has done something when he's really done nothing. And so we can't be surprised. We have to deal with it, and we have to get our message out clearly, sharply, and effectively.
When it comes to that message, there was a report earlier today, and Governor Romney did an interview with Politico where he said, really the thrust of the message of this convention is going to be the president's a nice guy. We're not disputing that, but he's been a failed president. I think there are some people on the right who think that's a soft message. You want to take the gloves off and punch. Do you think it's smart to go maybe after those undecideds and independents, or should there be a harsher tone?
Look, it's smart for the candidate to maintain that tone. Since there are irresponsible people like me out there, I don't have to maintain that tone. This president is not a nice guy. He doesn't tell the truth. He allows people to attack dishonestly. He lets his people use language that includes the word felon in describing Mitt Romney as a candidate. He lets people get the impression that somehow Mitt Romney was in collusion with acts that caused the death of a woman. That's not a nice guy. That's a failed presidency who's desperate and doing anything to get reelected. Governor Romney's right to be nice. I don't have to be nice.
Now, you've been in politics for a long time. You've had a lot of experience with campaigns, both your own and also a myriad presidential campaigns coming through your home state.
There's 112 presidential campaigns. Back to Lincoln or something.
So you're obviously an official surrogate for the campaign, so you're going to say nice things about them and their position, but taking off the surrogate hat for a moment if you can, and just the pure political analyst and what you've watched through the years, how do you view the current state of this race?
Look, this is a smart campaign. They understand the allocation of resources, and they have allocated their resources well. They are prepared for the last 2 months of this presidential election. Presidential elections are somewhat like basketball games. It's always the last 2 minutes in a basketball game. It's the last 2 months in a presidential campaign. They've stored up and prepared very well in husbanding their resources for the last 2 months. They are smart. They are ruthless, they are tough, they are very energetic in responding quickly. It is easy to criticize campaigns. I find it very difficult to criticize this gang. They've done a great job.
Finally, on the convention, why we're all here, is the importance of this convention overstated to some extent by the media? And are you concerned about the weather reports and the storm moving towards New Orleans have on the messaging and the optics that the Romney campaign is hoping to get out of essentially now a 3-day infomercial?
Well, first of all, let's give it a broader context. This is a very important election. America has had 4 years of inaction and bad action by a president who really doesn't have a sense of what needs to be done and is incapable, even if he knew it, of getting it done. So it needs a leader, and we need to win this election to give America a leader to resolve the problems. Having said that, there is a tempo to elections and a cycle to elections. And as I said earlier, the last 2 months are critical in a presidential campaign. And what usually triggers the last 2 months is that the kids begin to go to school again, either just before or just after Labor Day. And that's where we are now. And it is important to use this convention to move things forward at that point in as good a way as we possibly can, and to define the positive agenda that Governor Romney has for dealing with the jobs issues and America's energy independence, and trying to get our entitlement programs back under control so that we don't lose them to bankruptcy because a president like Obama did nothing. So those are the three kinds of things that we have to get started. A message on started out exactly right coming out of this convention. I think they'll be able to deal with it. We certainly feel and are concerned for the citizens of our country who are still in the track of that weather storm, hurricane, whatever it is rated when it hits land. And we would like it to hit land in a not very populated area and be as weak as possible. And we are concerned for them. But we do understand that for America's sake, we have to come out of this convention with some clear messages. They've compressed it to 3 days, which I think was wise. They know they've got to, if you will, interact against the media that's working on the weather issue, and certainly a media that's not going to be helpful. But these folks know how to do it, and they're going to do it well.
Governor John Sununu, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
And thank you for watching.